like to welcome everybody to the January 15th, 2019 regular meeting of the Alexander County Board of Education. It is also Appreciate Your Heat Pump and Air Condition Day. And I think that we're focusing on air conditioning tonight. So if your teeth are chattering, you know, you won't be out of order. If you would join me in a moment of silence, we have plenty of things to be thankful for, no matter what news media may say. So if you'd join me in a moment of silence. Okay, thank you. At this time, I would like to recognize Bo Lewis and Keenan Pennell of Allendale Elementary School, and they will come and lead us in our pledge. Keenan is a fifth grader, is the son of Kenny and Brandy Pennell, and then Bo is the son of Brian and Aaron Lewis.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Thank you, boys. Thank you. Good job, fellas. Fellow board members, if you'll take note, we have an addition to the agenda, and that will be the Head Start 2019-2020 refunding application, Miss Macy Jones, and also the Head Start waiver for non-federal share. That's our match, and we'll place that right after the STEM presentation by Dr. Betsy Curry. So if you'll consider that addition, I need a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Okay, at this time I'll recognize Dr. Jennifer Hefner, our superintendent, for the best part of any school board meeting, our honors and recognitions.
Thank you, Chairman Odom. I would agree with that. It is the best part of every meeting, and I'm honored that I have the privilege to be a part of it. I'm going to turn the podium and speak to the audience. That's always important to me. And the first recognition that we'll be making this month will be to our Board of Education. January is recognized as School Board Appreciation Month. In Alexander County, we recognize the commitment and sacrifice that school board members make to serve our schools and the community. School board members exemplify local citizen control and decision-making in education. They volunteer hundreds of hours and an immeasurable amount of energy to assure that our schools are providing the best education possible for the children of our community. That is why we are taking this opportunity to recognize them during School Board Appreciation Month. We have several thank you gifts from the schools and the district administration on the tables at the front of the room. And at this time, I would like to call each board member to come and stand in the area where you normally sit, and I'll continue with some other comments. So at this time, please come forward, Chairman David Odom, Vice Chairwoman Bridget Ryan, Board Member Matt Cooksey, Board Member Scott Bowman, Board Member Karen Brixey, and Board Member Harry Schrum. School board members are citizens whose decisions affect our children, what they learn, who will teach them, and what kinds of facilities will house their classrooms. Our school board is one of more than 100 such boards across the state. With the advice and counsel of the educational professionals they hire, our school board has an impact on virtually every aspect of our schools. This is a huge responsibility and one that should not be taken lightly. Board of Education members represent all residents of Alexander County and they take this responsibility seriously by attending meetings and conferences where they broaden their knowledge about education. Too often, we neglect to recognize the dedication and hard work of these men and women who represent us. The staff and students of our school district are asking all local citizens to take a moment to tell a school board member thanks for caring about our children's education at some point during the remainder of the month. We salute our Alexander County Board of Education, whose dedication and civic responsibility make local control of public schools in our communities possible. We applaud them for their vision and voice to help shape a better tomorrow. Please give them a round of applause. Members, before you're seated, I want to give you some instructions as far as the big basket in the front. That's a gift on behalf of the school system. And this cute card with a grill on it, don't just take it for a card. There's a little goodie to May's Meats inside that would be very appropriate with all the goodies you have in your grill basket. And we applaud Deborah Watts. She always comes up with a different theme, and we're tired of winter weather. We're ready to get out and do some grilling and have fun spring and summer activities. So applause goes to Deborah Watts. And enjoy these goodies. School board members, would any of you like to offer any comments? And Board Member Shrum, will you come up and help with the next presentation? I'm sorry, I let you get seated, didn't I? We will be recognizing Mrs. Amy Sipe. Amy is the music teacher at Allendale and Wittenberg Elementary Schools and has been awarded a grant for each school in the amount of $250 from the Hickory Choral Society. Mrs. Sipe will use the grant money to purchase curriculum to use with her students at the schools. This is the third year she has applied and received the award. So guess what? You have to apply for grants if you ever hope to receive them. So good for you. If you all will go up for a picture, I want to say a couple more things. The Hickory Choral Society is made up of approximately 110 singers who blend their voices in harmony and are devoted to musical excellence. The society was formed in 1978 and serves the Catawba Valley area. We appreciate all of our music teachers in Alexander County, and we appreciate their efforts to enhance the lives of our students through music and singing. Another congratulations to Mrs. Amy Sipe. Okay, and Vice Chairwoman Maya, will you cover the next recognitions? I hope I won't cry during this next one. I'll do my best. Rita McCauley is a veteran school bus driver with 18 years of experience driving a bus in Alexander County. On December 17th, while transporting students to West Alexander Middle School, her bus was hit by an oncoming car, causing the bus to skid and eventually roll onto its side. Rita was praised by a state trooper on the scene that morning, and she was praised by the transportation director, Mr. John McCurdy, for reacting quickly to the impact, which prevented the bus from overturning completely. Had the accident happened a little differently, the bus most likely would have flipped multiple times. A well-skilled driver is our greatest asset on a school bus, and we recognize Rita McCauley this evening not only for her service to this school system, but also for her driving skills, but most of all, for her love for the children that she transports to and from school each and every day. Thank you, Rita McCauley. Please come forward. Rita, you have transported my niece to and from school so many times. And while thinks she's all grown up and she has a driver's license now and doesn't ride the bus anymore, she still talks about Miss Rita. So I just hope bus drivers, I hope they understand the positive impact that they make on children. And the morning that Dr. Maynard called me and said, Dr. Hefner, we have a bus wreck with possible injuries, I just can't tell you what I felt that day, and I prayed all the way over to the site that the injuries would be minimal. And I think that the situation was as good as it was due to your skill and the way that you reacted. So I cannot thank you enough. Thank you. Also tonight, I want to recognize two young men who certainly helped out in a very, very bad situation. Rita talked about these boys and the way that they helped their classmates out of a bus that was over on its side. And if you just try to even imagine what that must have been like for these children when the bus finally stopped moving, and they were probably wondering what on earth has just happened. But these two young men were able to exit the bus and to find an exit where they could help their classmates out of the bus. And Rita has talked about them. At this time, I would ask Christopher Pennell, 8th grader on the Panthers team, and Christopher Shoemake, 6th grader on the Knights team, to please come forward. Christopher Pennell is the son of Travis and Hope Pennell, and Christopher Shoemake is the grandson of Ann Anderson. And parents and grandparents, I just want to say thank you for teaching your children that when you're willing to give a helping hand in a tough situation, you might not be able to fix it, but you certainly can make it a whole lot better. So I commend you young men. I say thank you, and your classmates thank you. A job very well done. And Dr. Maynard, I would ask you to come up. I know I'm fielding lots of questions still in the community asking about the children, all the children who were on the bus. Would you give a brief update on the students?
Before I begin, I'd just like to second what Dr. Hefner shared. Thank you, Ms. McCauley. Thank you, Christopher and Chris, for the job you did. As you're aware, at the time of the accident, we had a total of 21 students on the bus. 2 were transported by their parents to seek medical care from site. We had 13 students transported with 3 different counties of the EMS to 3 regional hospitals. At those hospitals, we had Ms. Curtis was at Fry, Ms. Calhoun, she went to Catawba, Janelle Lingle went to Caldwell, as well as Dr. Clore was there. Dr. Curry was on site with me, and we had 13 students transported. All those students were released the day of the accident. Many of them had follow-up care. We currently have all the students but one. We have 2 students who are still in slings due to some shoulder collarbone injuries. One young lady still has a cast, and one young lady who was actually released Wednesday following the accident from Baptist. She's still in a back brace, but continuing to recover. So many of the students still are receiving follow-up treatment at this time. All of the students have successfully returned to school. Many of them are already riding the bus again, so that's quite an accomplishment after undergoing such an experience. So we are blessed due to Ms. McCauley's driving, and would be remiss if I didn't thank the Sheriff Department, as well as the 3 EMS systems that supported us that day. We also had the Alexander County Sheriff Department, the Highway Patrol. They were outstanding that day. Russell Green, I can't say enough great things about him. Board Member Schrum, Board Member Bowman was on site. Dr. Curry was on site, and I'm sure I'm leaving lots of other people off. Our school staff did an outstanding job that day just to keep some normal activities for our other students that day, so they could focus on their education and not to try to be distracted with the concerns that many of them did have for their classmates. So I can't say enough great things about all the staff that day as far as how they responded. It was certainly an unfortunate situation that I pray I'll never have to go through again, but I can't say enough good things about all the people in Alexander County, as well as the staff at school, all the healthcare providers, everyone that supported that day, that made the situation a lot easier for those students and myself personally. So I just want to say thank you to all those, and thank you, board. Thank you, Dr.
Well, I would be remiss if I didn't say thank you, Dr. Maynard. My hashtag is Leadership Matters, and your leadership that day made a big impact on how things played out as well. So I thank you. And I kept getting reports throughout the day. We did have staff at each of the hospitals where the children had been transported. And I don't know who was more concerned about whom. Children wanting to know about their bus driver wanting to know about her children, children wanting to know about just everybody. And it takes a team, it takes a village, and we're in a good place. So I thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Havner. And I would mention that tonight we were going to recognize our baseball coach at the high school, Coach Pete Hardy. He's under the weather, and we'll get him back when he's feeling better. But we're excited that he was inducted in the North Carolina Baseball Coaches Association Hall of Fame. So when he gets better, we look forward to having him here. And our next item is public comment. Did anybody sign up? Okay, we have no comments. So item 2 will be our consent agenda, and you have that before you. So I would request a motion regarding that.
Move to approve.
Have a motion?
Second.
Have a second. Any discussion? All in favor of the consent agenda say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Now, if people like government minutia and a lot of acronyms and boredom, you're welcome to stay for the entire meeting. But if you'd actually like to enjoy your evening and, relax, then this is a great time for you to slip on out. But, we welcome you to stay, but don't put yourself through it.
It's not all boring.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Proud of you, buddy. Okay, we still have a much larger crowd than normal, so item 3, we'll recognize Miss Crystal Hoke, the principal at Allendale Elementary, and she's going to bring us a school update.
Well, I'm thankful to be here tonight to present some Allendale highlights. It's a good night. I have lots of goodies in front of you. We've had some special recognition, so lots of smiling already, even through tears. But I am proud to be here tonight to give an overview of Allendale. I put that picture up there of us, and our theme this year is One Team, One Goal. And so I am a theme-oriented kind of person, and so really I just wanted you to know that you're looking, guys, I'm sorry, but you're looking at the best possible staff ever. So just wanted to show those off. I'm sorry, guys. I love you high school folks, though. I have a clicker, or are you clicking for me? Okay? Okay? All right, so just wanted to share some highlights with you guys, and of course I have to start with student achievement. We are very proud of our school achievement. We have continued to increase overall achievement as well as reading and science, although we had a slight drop in math, but we're able to get those grades of B. So just very proud of that. And I guess the thing that we're most proud about is that solid growth index of 0.85. So we're very proud to be in the positive and to be a school that has met growth. We're not happy just being at met growth, but it feels really good to be there. As you guys know, that has been a hurdle for us, the growth component, and so it feels good that we have turned the tides. I do want to take a minute here, though, and commend our teachers. They have really hung with me. That theme of one team, I attribute a lot of our achievement to the next 2 bullets of Leader in Me and Learning Focused Professional Development. And so the teachers have just been with me, and we've dug and we've pushed, and I feel like that's just a testament to the work that we've been putting in the last couple of years. As far as Leader in Me, we are formally in our 3rd year in the Leader in Me process. We, I guess since I shared last year, we've completed 2 more trainings aligning academics and empowering instruction. And in going through those trainings, really, I guess it reaffirmed what we're doing as well in the county with Learning Focused. And Dr. Curry and I have talked about just the research base, whether it's Hattie's or Marzano. Good stuff is good stuff. And so we've continued to learn about those high yield practices and been able to align those things and put them together, again, just to strengthen our instructional practices. Some more highlights at Allendale. We're proud to be a model school for PBIS. We also practice the wigs. I think y'all heard me talk about wigs before. And Bo sitting back there, he could tell you that we talk about wigs a lot at Allendale. Those are wildly important goals. We also have pigs that are pretty important goals. But we're focusing on the wigs right now. And so I'll show you our wigs here in just a minute, but we really talk about the school-wide goal, set that precedent, and then we do grade level goals, classroom goals, and then students actually create their own goals based on those goals, and that's what they track in their leadership notebooks. So students K-5 do have leadership notebooks, and last year I know some of you guys were able to see our students share those, and I've got a video clip where you'll see a little bit more of that. I did want to share about kindness projects. Last year, we actually were a recipient of the Commissioner's Choice Awards. First place had previously been third place. So, and I attribute to that to, we did a school-wide focus reading on the book Wonder, and then challenged each one of our classrooms to do service projects. And what they did was much more than I ever thought that they would do, but they touched so many agencies, as you can see there, locally and beyond our county. And so we've ramped that up just a little bit, and we're challenging parents with that this year, and I'll show you that in just a second. Another practice that we're really proud of is our Genius Days. We decided on our early dismissal days to make those Genius Days, and so every classroom does STEM challenges, and again, there's a template lesson plan that they go through to make sure that there's always writing and rigor in those things as well. So there's a time for that in each classroom, but then there's 45 minutes to an hour where all of our students K-5 participate in an exploratory club. So some of our K-2 students, they switch within grade level. They have things like Sunshine Club, Lego Club, Photography Club. So they're going around with the iPads taking pictures. And then in 3-5, we have Battle of the Books, Student Council, Baker's Beauty Shop. The girls love Baker's Beauty Shop. They're doing nails, and they've got mops and have done different braids of hairs. So that's a popular one. And we've actually been able to work with DARE through the Ag Extension Office, and she has come and done Tiger Chefs with us. So just lots of good partnerships as well for what we're doing on the early dismissal days. And this shows our wigs that we have. So these are our academic wigs. We break them up for reading K2 and 3-5, again, just because of the measurement that we're using. And our goal level is much different. So for K2, that 80% proficiency, 3-5, 70%. And then we do have that goal K5 for math of 80%. So again, that's our school level, and we set that, in the summer as a staff. And then classrooms then come to, grade levels, and then classrooms determine what their wigs are. And they are scoreboarded and tracked as well. So there's a scoreboard of this bulletin board on the front, right when you walk into school. And as we're completing benchmarks, we will update that scoreboard. And the classrooms also scoreboard frequently, which then trickles down to the students doing it as well in the leadership notebook. So that's just kind of the process of the wigs playing out. So beyond academics, one thing we felt like we really wanted to focus on was parent involvement. We have noticed a decline over the years in parent involvement, and so we set a lofty goal of 70%. You'll see the left page is actually a page that students have in their leadership notebooks where they can track the events for the year. So they got that back in September, and we had a parent night last night, and the parents, the families, the students revisited the leadership notebook. I see Mr. Lewis nodding his head over there, where they could check if they attended, and again, we're tracking that. So just really being more purposeful about communicating parent involvement. And then another thing that we're trying to do is do some family home learning in the fall. This is an example. We did a fall family challenge Barnes actually created this for us, but just a lot of good family activities. And yeah, here's a couple slides. We actually went together and put together slides. So these slides are, we have them going on our digital signage in the hallways and in the cafeteria to celebrate the families that did these things. So you'll see this is some of the things that they were asked to do. Family game night, read a fall book, a family meal was one, take a hike. So again, just trying to work with the families on taking a good partnership, but also just meaningful family time. These are some more recent examples. The habits for the holidays we kicked off right before Christmas, and this is our kindness projects for this year. So we're asking every family to do either an act of kindness or a service project by the end of January, and then turn in some evidence to us. And of course, we're gonna celebrate those. We're gonna have a variety show where we'll highlight those, put those on display. So I've seen some where the families have cooked for a neighbor who had surgery. We had a family, you may know this one, Dr. Hefner, but another family took sweatshirts to a homeless community. So we have some. My family is working on the sensory room for the autistic children, and my kids have had a fundraiser. You'll see one of them in a minute, but so something good for all of our families to be involved in. And then the middle, that sheet there is the scorecard we actually went through last night in our parent night. So what I talked to parents about last night and we wanted to stress is just that using that common language and the common principles of Leader in Me. So we want those habits to start trickling into the home. And we've been talking about this for a couple years, but it's a process. I like to say we're pot, not microwave. So we're slowly trickling in to the, just remember that, pot, not microwave. So we're trickling into the home. So these are a couple slides of what we talked about, but really just talking about proactivity, reactive versus proactive, circle of control, circle of no control, emotional bank accounts, family mission statements. And like I told the families last night, I've been through all the trainings. I don't have a family mission statement, so I have to bring it into my home as well. So we went through some direct teach, just of 4 habits or 3 habits and values, and then we've sent some activities home. So again, this is a slide that I shared last night, but really talking about the partnership between home and school and how valuable that is. I told the group last night, we weren't quite at 70% last night. We were slightly under, although we had several classes with above 80%. But I told the families last night that we have a lot of families in crisis, and we're preparing our children for society we can't imagine, just the stressors and things that they'll face. And so our goal is to partner with them to create those life-ready leaders, and I really like that term. So our academics are certainly important, but we also want to focus on the whole child and building that partnership. And I also wanted to talk just a little bit about our Leader in Me process. So we are formally year 3. We did a year kind of exploring on our own before we fully invested in that. But we're starting to talk as a staff about what are the next steps for us. And so we have started completing some rubrics, which I guess the gold standard of Leader in Me schools is called a lighthouse school. And so the leadership team that leads that is a lighthouse team, and we have built a student lighthouse team, and we are building a parent community lighthouse team. And so we're finding out from the rubric that we are doing really well on the fidelity to the process. And so we're excited. We're going to be working with our coach and having some visits coming up actually in February and March. and we may be making the next step to pursue Lighthouse certification as early as May. So what that really means, just to give you a number, there's about 4,000 schools worldwide in the Leader in Me process. Only about 10% of those schools are recognized as a Lighthouse school. In North Carolina, right now, when I look on the map, there are 10 schools in North Carolina that are Lighthouse schools. I have visited some around us. There's one in Newton, South Newton, and then East Iredell are the ones that would be closest to us. So our goal is to be number 11. So that's where we want to go. And then, that really sums up our vision and mission up there, developing leaders one child at a time. And I told Bo I was going to make him a movie star all-star. So this video, I actually worked with students and Amy Dawson to create for our family night, but it was just too good not to share with you guys. So I'm not sure I can hit play on that. If I could get some help, just a short video about our vision and mission.
I'm Bo, and welcome to Allendale Elementary School, where everyone can be a leader.
Hello, my name is Zayla, and I am a leader.
My name is Ava, and I'm a leader.
My name is Jeremiah, and I am a leader.
Hi, my name is Gaddens, and I'm a leader.
Hi, my name is Graham, and I'm a leader. Hello, my name is Dalton, and I'm also a leader.
My name is Amy, and I'm a leader in Allendale.
I'm Riley.
I'm Rayleigh.
We are leaders
At Allendale Elementary School.
Well, my name is Ezra, and I'm a leader.
Our motto is learn, lead, serve, succeed.
Hello. Leadership is our culture. When you walk in the building, you feel it. We strive to fill our classrooms and our hallways with positive messages for children. That's our song. We believe every child has genius and every student can be a leader.
I see Leader in Me as the foundational part of a person's life. The habits that we're teaching here at school, like be proactive, that shows up in your work situations. Be on time, do the things your boss tells you to do. Whenever you're thinking about habit 6, synergize, that's not something we just do here at school. You have to work together with people. Whenever you think about habit 4, think win-win. In the world, we have to think about the ways that people can compromise and get along with each other. So it's not something extra, it's the foundation for living.
I believe Leader in Me is life lessons that kids can learn in life, a family, and in the community.
The Leader in Me has made a big difference in our school. It has transformed our students into leaders. They look for ways they can serve the community. They're seeking ways to help each other in the classroom. They're becoming more proactive, responsible for their education. It's a great place to be at Allendale, seeing the Leader in Me transforming lives. It's our future.
At Allendale, we develop leaders one child at a time. I've been working on our service project. We had a bake sale, and we raised about $180. We took 100 of that money and gave it to Tent Town. The other $80, we bought stuff for our sensory room. We bought this mat, we bought lamps, and this Christmas light things.
We've been working on the see-to-get model, and what I want to see myself do is improve on my math. And how am I going to do that? I'm going to work on revision for 15 to 20 minutes a night. And what I'm going to get a 5 on my EOD math.
This is my leadership notebook. We've been doing the see, do, get model. I want to see my reading Lexile go up. To do that, I'm going to read 5 to 10 more minutes at home and read books in my sweet spot. I want to get a 5 on EOG and A's on my report card.
Leader in Me has really changed our school. It has brought all the staff together with a common purpose and a common vision. We try to build the whole child, including academics and their talents. For our students, Leader in Me has provided many opportunities, not just for those high-achieving students, but for all students to be a leader in the classroom, whether it be a student job or in the school, being a photographer, a student speaker, media helper, office assistant. Leader in Me has provided many opportunities for our students that will prepare them for their life.
I'm a leader on Student Lighthouse team. I'm a leader in reading.
And I'm a leader on the Sunshine team.
I'm a leader in science.
I'm a leader in technology.
I'm a leader in the production crew.
I am a leader in battlefield.
I'm a leader in basketball.
At Allendale, we believe learn, lead, serve, succeed.
I just want to draw your attention to the students that had their leadership notebook. What they were talking about is their teacher has prompted them to do, it's called See, Do, Get model, which is a change model that is even used in businesses. So here you have students not just making a goal, but they're really taking the actions and what is needed to achieve that goal. And I feel like that student ownership, that empowerment has been a huge difference maker for us at Allendale. So just good stuff, powerful stuff. One more slide. This, and I think Deborah was going to give you guys a copy. This is a save the date. We will be having our 3rd annual Leadership Day on March 28th. We're still planning for that, but as we shared, our motto is one team, so we're going with the game on thing. So you see some of our teams on there, but would love to have board members, community members, anybody who can. I will be sharing that time when we get all those details worked out, but would love to have you that day. That's all I have.
Thank you, Ms. Hygiene.
Great job.
Any board members have any comments or questions for Ms. Hope?
I think it's been a very successful year, and I know you've worked really hard, and your staff has worked hard. Great fondness for Allendale. Obviously, that's where my kids went. They're up in the...
I started to say the involvement had changed a little bit since you were the PT president.
Well, things change. Things change, but really should be proud of yourself. Thank you, and your staff.
Thank you for your presentation.
Thank you.
Okay, next we will recognize Mr. Gordon Palmer, the principal at Alexander Central High School. And I would also allude to him as the captain on deck. You will see him in the car rider line. I saw him today, and so anybody that can manage that chaos, you know, hats off to our administrators system-wide who come out of the office and help with the car rider line, because it is organized chaos. I don't know who's more tardy, the parents or the students, but
I don't miss the car rider line.
so we're glad to have you, Mr. Palmer.
All right. Well, thank you. And before I start, I'd like to say that I had the privilege of going to Allendale for one of our curriculum meetings, and we got to walk through the classrooms there. And one of the things that I noticed was all the wigs in every classroom, which is really, really powerful stuff. And it's very similar to a Baldrige system that I worked with before that's backed up by John Hattie's meta-analysis. So educational stuff, A+, great job. I was extremely impressed and had a privilege of going to Allendale, so it was a job well done. Tonight I've got 2 programs to present. We have our Dream On 3 and Capstone. We're going to start with our Dream On 3, which is an amazing program that we just got accepted into, which is going to make one of our students' dreams come true. And we've got a great team to help us with that. So to start, we've got Dream On 3. What is Dream On 3? Dream On 3, they bring sports dreams to life for qualified children by creating personal experiences with their favorite athletes, sporting event, or sports team. Their vision is to unite communities in promoting the dreams of our children. It is similar to Make-A-Wish, but they focus on a different candidate pool and a candidate who either has a life-changing experience or life-altering experience, or has a disability that is life-changing and life-altering. Later on, we'll show you a video. I could stand up here and talk about it all day long, but to see an actual experience really speaks volumes, so we'll show a couple of videos later on. Tonight we have our great team with us. We've got our junior dream team, and we also have our staff team. We also have two members, the founding member of Dream On 3 and program specialist in the crowd from Dream On 3 tonight, and they'll come up and speak to you as well. So we've got Brian Lewis, who's our assistant principal, who really pushed to make this happen. We had Chris and Amanda Marshall, who are EC teachers. We've got Abby and Casey, who are awesome students that are part of a 12-student team that is really going to lead this event. They plan it, they organize it, they have the send-off. So this is going to teach them very valuable lessons, but they are rock star students, and we are very blessed to have them in our school, and they'll talk to you about kind of what it means to them and also the student we're going to be helping out. We tried to get as many students as possible from all different parts of the school. So we have students who are big in CTE, athletes, our artists, all over. The only thing we excluded was freshmen. They are kind of still getting accustomed to high school, so we went from 10th to 12th grade students. The other thing is, Dream On 3 is a growing program, and what we have to say too is, their plate was full when we reached out to them. But they came out to Alexander Central, they sat down with us, they listened to our story, they listened to all about our student, and they were on the fence for just a second. But we have a secret weapon, and our secret weapon is our baby cougars. So while they were thinking about it, we went down and took a little video of our baby cougars saying, we're ready for it, 1, 2, 3, dream, and sent it to them. So they said, you know what, we're 100% in, we're ready to go. So we'd also like to thank our baby cougars. So the experience, what they're going to experience is, this is going to be a surprise for our candidate. They will know that something is going to take place, but they won't know exactly what. And we get to be as creative as we want to be. It'll include a sporting event, but our responsibility is pretty much to plan ideas of what the student really likes, so they can plan ideas for that, and Dream On 3 can plan the trip, and then we plan the big send-off. So you'll see some videos of that later on. And we will fundraise for this to send our recipient on this trip. But the great thing about Dream On 3 is, it doesn't matter if we raise $500 or $50,000. They're going to make this dream come true for this candidate. So it's a very special program that they offer. And then they will also help us. They'll meet with us on a regular basis. Our team meets at least weekly to plan, and they come out to meet with us to plan the events, really to keep the excitement going and the intensity, and to keep really the whole school and the whole community will get behind this. So what we'll do now is we'll play the video, which basically goes into what is this junior dream team all about. It'll teach social responsibility, character development, leadership, stewardship, and teamwork. So we'll play a short video if we
What is the purpose of a junior dream team?
The Junior Dream Team is a program that works directly through high schools to empower student leaders to make a dream come true for one of their own classmates with special needs.
Typically, we have 8 students come together working as a unit, from learning about social responsibility to planning to social media for business to getting their student body on board and excited about the project and getting behind one of their own.
How are members of a junior dream team affected or impacted by this experience?
We've had students come to the realization that they have a gift for servant leadership.
Also helps them understand what it means to be empathetic towards people who have particular needs in their lives.
It makes them into better leaders. I've seen it change career paths and things that they want to do with their lives.
How does a junior dream team impact the school?
What I really saw happen was just a kindness, in that people really started to understand that just because someone looks different than you and acts different than you, then that doesn't mean that they are less than you.
They changed the culture of the school by just really being thoughtful and mindful of the person that they're planning for.
What would you say to schools who are considering becoming a junior dream team school?
You will see impact on the students in your school and on the faculty in your school.
This is a chance to teach students to be leaders. It is a chance to say to students, you can give back to the community. We have an opportunity to educate our students in something that's outside of the classroom. It's beyond math and English. It is life skills. And what an opportunity, don't miss it.
For more information about our Junior Dream Team program, go to dreamon3.org. We would love to have you in the huddle.
1, 2, 3, dream!
So last year I had the honor and privilege of working with Dream On 3, and we had a student who was really big into sports, and the student body always rallied around him. He was prom king, took the homecoming queen, just a phenomenal student. And through this process of planning this experience for him, it really took our entire student body and brought them together as a group to give back for one of their own who was very deserving. And the experience was phenomenal. He didn't know where he was going. He didn't know what he was going to do. So one day we had this big send-off for him, huge send-off, entire student body in the gym cheering for him. And they tell him, he's going to go to the Daytona 500. He leaves that day straight from our gymnasium, gets on a private jet, flies down to Florida, meets all the stars. And I could explain that to you, but you really have to see it. And really see how our community and civic organizations and everyone really came together.
So we are at West Iredale High School, getting ready to do Tyler's VIP send-off. He doesn't know it today, but he's coming in here to learn from his fellow classmates that his dream's coming true. He'll be in Daytona by this afternoon.
Who in here is ready to send Tyler Ford on this trip?
All of your friends here at West Iredale High School are working hard to send you on a huge dream that starts today. As soon as this assembly is over, you are flying to Daytona for the Daytona 500 for the weekend.
The students erupted. They want to support Tyler. He is Mr. West Iredale. He is the biggest warrior we have here. The way the Junior Dream Team and Dream On 3 has impacted our school is it has really brought our school closer together.
I don't know if you know, Tyler, but all these guys on this airplane, actually their job is to work on the race cars. Well, Tyler, we're super excited to get to take you to the racetrack today, and we know you're going to have a great time.
It was awesome. I love to fly. We're here in Florida at last.
Have a good time, man. How are you? Good to see you. How are you doing?
Boy, I believe it. Pearson. And this is Derek Earnhardt Jr.
Yes, sir.
I know it was you.
Yes, sir. That's right. You want to get a couple pictures?
Sure.
All right, me too.
My man. Here's the man I was looking for.
Doing all right? Doing okay, buddy?
Congratulations for that dual race.
Oh, thanks. Yeah.
You always make me proud. I'll tell you that right now.
Thanks.
luck today in tomorrow's race.
Thanks, buddy. I appreciate it. It's great to meet you.
Nice to meet you, too.
You have fun down here, all right? These guys make these airplanes go up in the air that you've been seeing fly.
Whoa! Hey, you look pretty
How you
ready.
doing? How's it going?
Good.
All right, buddy.
I'll let the 9 hat slide, but you gotta get like an 88 shirt or like something.
Okay.
We gotta split it up.
This is Tyler.
Oh, how are you?
Good.
You like me in interviews? Why is
Yeah.
that? Because I'm honest?
Yeah.
I say whatever I want?
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
But you do look cute.
Oh.
Tyler can come and race for me.
All right.
Yeah.
You hear that? I'm gonna race for him.
I'll have to put in a good word for you.
Yep. How are you? Wow, look who it is.
How are
It's
you?
my old pal.
Old pal.
Albie.
How you
It's
doing?
my old pal, Jeff Gordon.
Great to see you. How you doing?
Nice
I like
to
that
see
shirt.
Thank you.
It's bringing back some memories.
Thank you. I see you got 93 wins and 4 championships.
That's right.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
I love this man. That was good.
It's been quite an experience, to say the least.
Seeing the look on Tyler's face when he got to meet Jeff Gordon, Dale Earnhardt Jr., and Danica Patrick.
This is something that he's wanted to do his entire life. I mean, 'cause he's loved NASCAR since he was just a small child. And I mean, to come here at this facility and meet the level of drivers that we've met, and I mean, the team owners, and they're also nice. Their hospitality is just unreal. I mean, the NASCAR community is just, I mean, they are super good guys.
So as you can see, it's a great experience that we're going to be able to provide for one of our fellow classmates. You saw a private jet, getting to meet all his heroes, but we're ready to go even bigger and better here this year. What I want to do now is call up Mr. Lewis and Abby and Casey so that they can talk about our candidate, our recipient, and kind of what this means to them.
Good evening, my name is Casey Gilbert and I'm a senior at Alexander Central. I'd like to speak to you about one of my classmates, Davion Washington. Davion and I went to school together since middle school. Every day since, he's been a ray of sunshine in my life and many others. Davion is one of the most kind-hearted young men I've ever met in my life. He stands holding the front door open, giving us fist bumps and saying have a great day every single morning. No matter if it's sunny and warm, freezing cold and raining, he's there. He waves and smiles at everyone to begin their school day. Every time I've ever been in a room with him, he has always come over to me and given me a hug. Even on my hardest days, that's always been something that's made my day. He could simply change my day with that. I've always enjoyed talking to him and being around him because he means so much to me, and he helps out in our school in many different ways. I believe he is one of the most deserving candidates for Dream On 3. I want to see him receive something so special to him for all his love and kindness that he spread throughout our school. To me, being a part of this experience is very special. Davion truly deserves to take part in Dream On 3, and I'll forever remember this. Thank you for your time.
ladies and gentlemen. First note, Dr. Curry wanted to let y'all know that I am a pointer. I did come from Stony Point Elementary. Then I moved to East with Dr. Harrington. And then now I'm a sophomore at Alexander County High School. I like to start off by telling y'all, back in 2006, I have a brother who has special needs. He has cerebral palsy. And so there are tough days, but other days I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world. He's truly a blessing to the world and always smiling, no matter how many surgeries or anything. You'll always see that boy smile. Anyway, sorry, back on subject. In 2006, my family went to the grandkids organization, and it truly, I don't remember because I was so tiny, but stuff like that with Make-A-Wish and Dream on 3, just giving these kids with special needs to go somewhere where all the attention's on them and just truly making their days, they will never forget that in a billion years. And just seeing them all smile, and I would just truly like to just thank God for everything He's allowing us to do, and just it's organizations like these just make everything worthwhile. And you know, our family just tries to help others as much as possible, and just seeing the smile on these kids' face with special needs, with the marshals back there doing so much for our school with the special needs, because you know they don't think like we do, but they're so smart and brilliant, so smart. You know, one of the best kids you'll ever see, always smiling, just giving a hard time, kicking back and forth. You know, like sometimes when I go to the bathroom, I sneak out and just see the special kids' needs, because that truly what. No offense. I'll return back to class. Just sneaking out, seeing them, truly makes my day all the time. And just Davion, you know, if it could be 100 degrees or 20 degrees outside, he is holding that door, giving you fist bumps, telling you good morning, always asking you about your day. Just truly amazing kid. And again, I just want to thank God for allowing him to be in my life, going through school and just seeing him just smiling so bright, always being there, so nice. And he can break out a move too. He's not scared to. Even in the cafeteria, you'll be eating lunch and you'll look up and you'll see him have a dance battle. So he's just an amazing soul, always smiling. I would truly like to thank Dream on 3 for, I know we're kind of last minute, but thank y'all so much for picking just a small town school like us, and thank you for all you do. Truly, y'all are a blessing to anyone in all these other county schools. Just lighting someone up, just giving them hope and everything. So thank y'all so much, and thank y'all all for being here tonight, listening to us, and have a good one.
What an amazing opportunity that we get this chance to give back to somebody that gives so much of their time here today to us. You know, that's one of our recipients' greatest qualities, is he takes his own time every day to make our day a little better. Again, like they said, you know, he stands out in the weather no matter what it is. He's always smiling, and he always takes it so serious that, you know, every fist bump he's going to deliver that little boost of power to make your day just a little bit better. And the second thing that I think is so amazing is we get the opportunity for our students to have this experience. You know, curriculum is very important, and we spend the majority of our day in the classroom teaching various curriculums, but I think what our student body is going to learn out of this experience is going to be forever life-changing for them. I know it gives me chill bumps every time I watch those videos, and just thinking of the opportunity that our kids get to experience this along with Davion. So I'm just so excited for everybody involved and to kind of see what this kind of grows into. So I just thank Dream on 3 for the opportunity to be a part of it. So thank you guys.
Elizabeth or Sue, would you want to, kind of putting you on the spot, I wonder if you want to say a few words?
I'm Elizabeth Lindsay. My husband and I founded the organization about 6 years ago. We call it his Jerry Maguire moment. He's been in corporate America for about 20 years, and he was sitting at a conference one day and had this vision, and it was trying to write it down, and it was coming faster than he could keep up. And he called me on the way home. He said, "Don't hang up on me. Please don't think I'm crazy, but I've got to get this off my chest. We're called to do more. We're called to serve." We have two teenage daughters at home, and their biggest worry is their phone charged, and what does their social calendar look like? And that's our fault. That was our fault. And so I did think he was a little crazy at first, like, start a nonprofit. I've been a nonprofit my career with the YMCA, so nonprofit work has always been a big part of my internal hardwiring. And so we got to work, did a lot of praying, and the Lord certainly just led us from a weekend mission project for our family into something far greater than we could have ever imagined. When we put together a board, 501c3, and started with one dream. One dream, funded it out of our own pockets. Really, we planned the dream in our living room with our two daughters, and it was a great blessing. We had no idea the impact that it would have on the recipient, but what we received from it was far greater. The organization flourished very quickly, and one dream turned into 7 dreams. The next year it turned into 14 dreams, and the way the business, the nonprofit originally was developed was that we worked locally in our community with hospital referral partners and intellectual and developmental disability agencies. And about 3 years into it, my husband had, and he would get on to me right now saying, "Elizabeth, we did this together." No, the Lord certainly was giving him the vision. He said, "What if we take this into our high schools? What if we can empower future leaders in our community to make a dream come true for one of their own?" And so we started with one high school, and we worked with the administration, who identified 8 students from different areas of the school basically to be ambassadors for one of their own, and walked through the whole program from start to finish of what it takes to make a dream come true. Yes, making a dream come true is a blessing beyond words, but what we found, lived, and saw through that experience was it impacted not only the student whose dream was made a reality, but the 8 students that worked tirelessly, relentlessly after school, before school, during lunch, to plan special events to help educate their peers about the students, what the student might live with. And yes, the student might be different, but it doesn't make them any less. If anything, it made them better. And they basically were the student's voice throughout the whole school. And then they took it another step into the community, where they rallied their community to get behind their high school, to get behind the student, and so it's just a ripple effect. And so the day of that individual send-off, when we walked into the gymnasium where the student learned, today is dream day, you're going on your dream experience, and there's 2,000 students celebrating this one individual, it was all of us that were blessed beyond measure. So to give these future leaders who are so articulate and so compassionate, you ladies are very impressive, and you have a really incredible future ahead of you. And it was very humbling to be able to listen to you talk about your classmates, and to see the love and compassion and just the wheels turning and just the selflessness. So we're hopeful that this experience that we're bringing to these high schools, to these wonderful young people, will be life-changing, not only for the recipient, but for them. Just what a great community that you live and work in. We're humbled, we're honored. Thank you for the call. Thank you for saying, "Hey, what do you think?" We're blessed to be here, to be a part of your community in this project. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
So we extend our invitation to you. We will set dates and have a send-off, and we would love for everyone to be there for that send-off. We may call on you for support or ideas and really right now we just want everyone to spread the word about this program and let everyone know about it so we can get as many people involved as possible. Do you have any questions?
Is this something that's going to happen before the end of school?
Yes.
Okay.
We are in the early stages. We've got a few of his interests narrowed down, and we'll kind of keep it a secret until the end. We'll kind of set some dates, and we'll have a send-off, but it'll be kind of a secret until that final moment we do the send-off and we tell him, hey, you're going to wherever it is we send him.
Okay.
I guess I'm up next.
Yes, sir.
So it's hard to follow, but I'll try. First, let me so we have another program that'll be new to Alexander Central High School. This is a This is a prestigious program that allows us to offer our students a great curriculum, scholarship opportunities, the best high school diploma in the country, and the ability to explore their passion. This will provide our students a leg up when they're applying to some of the top schools and universities in the country, and it'll set them apart from other candidates. Capstone is a program that is in addition to our AP Academy. So we'll explain this in depth, but so far what have we done? In September we got a team together of our AP Academy leaders and said, what is the next step in this progression and what can we offer, what can we bring here that will really make us stand out and set our students apart. So we found Capstone, we completed the application, and we were accepted in December. We got notification from the College Board that we can offer Capstone next year. This currently, there are less than 6% of high schools in the state of North Carolina right now. Currently, right now, there are only 47 high schools in the state of North Carolina that have the ability to offer Capstone, and we will be one of those next year. So the next step is to train our staff. They go through an intensive training that is week-long in addition to multiple trainings the following year. And they are extremely excited about that. Dr. Vinson is one of our leaders in this program, who I don't think we could find anybody better or more suited for this. So he is really excited about this and looking forward to it. And what we can offer is we can offer a Capstone diploma, which is the most distinguishable high school diploma in the country. We can offer a Capstone certificate, and it is a huge distinction for our students, as well as being able to generate merit scholarships. So what is the AP Academy and what is Capstone? The Academy is what we currently offer, and it is basically our top students academically, our AIG students. We want to give them the best opportunity to make the most out of all 4 years of their education. So we work with their scheduling, we work with their course load, we enhance their regular curriculum to provide them college-based, almost like college prep for them. Even if it's not an AP course, even if it's just English 1, we'll put them in a cohort where they have English 1 Honors Academy. So they're learning the English 1 Honors curriculum, but they can go far beyond that. So then we start teaching them pre-AP skills, so when they get to those courses, like the English courses that have a lot of writing, extensive writing, they're well suited and well prepared for that. We build their skills, service, and experiences, and we want to make them the most competitive student when they go up against other candidates from around the country. Our Capstone will aid in that, and that's really the next step in that progression. It is a new program to Alexander Central that we'll offer next year. Like I said, most distinguishable high school diploma in the country. When you look at certain colleges and certain universities around the country, and even here in North Carolina, one in particular is Queen's University. If you look at their admissions site, it'll say To earn our merit scholarship or our top scholarship, you've got to do one of two things: graduate IB or Capstone. Now our students can say, I am a Capstone candidate, they can check that box, and they can earn that merit scholarship. This also allows flexibility because we didn't want to create a program where our students were boxed in and they could only take a certain number of courses, they can't take electives, they are just boxed into a rigorous schedule that if they change their mind to what they want to do or what they want to be, then there's no way out. That is not what we wanted. We wanted a curriculum that was flexible, that allowed our students to still be high school students and be in beta club and band and chorus and drafting, ag mechanics, and be an athlete. So this program fits all those needs. And this really focuses more on skills than content. We're doing a great job of teaching them content right now, but we also want them to have the skills to be successful in college. The two courses that will be new to Alexander Central are seminar and research, and you can read the descriptions of these, but basically seminar, you learn the skills to investigate topics, and you learn how to support, not just investigate it, but support your claims. The great part about this is we can test our students over and over and over again, but sometimes testing becomes too much, so we don't want to just add additional tests to them. The great thing about Capstone is for the first course there is a test, but it only counts 45% of their 1 out of 5 score to earn college credit. So they do not put the emphasis on the test, they put the emphasis on the work that the students are doing. And they'll take that their junior year. Research is the second course, and basically it's taking what you learned in seminar and putting it into practice and using those skills. And this has no test. There is no AP test, but you still earn college credit. You still earn a 1 to 5 score. And in that, there's a paper that you complete, which is 75% of your grade. And there is you supporting that, your presentation, which is 25% of your grade. And this is something that our teachers will grade and work on and support the students in. So it's not just, all right, you come here one day, you take this test, you pass or fail. It is, we're working on this the entire year. So some of the benefits, we want to create the best opportunities for our students looking at a 4-year university. In our needs assessment, our parents spoke to us and said, we need to increase our opportunities for students that are AIG and college bound, and we felt that need, so we felt like this is the absolute best way to go. The AP Academy, we've started that process, and this is next in that. So the other piece is, we don't ever want to be average. We don't want to just say, okay, you can earn some college credits and we'll ship you off to college. And we want to prepare you to be the best. When you leave our AP Academy, when you leave our Capstone, we want you to be #1 in your class to college. We want you to have the #1 opportunities at scholarship, earn the most scholarship, earn the best scholarships, and prepare to be in the highest institutions that you can really reach at. Whether it's Ivy League, some of the top colleges in Carolina, we've got great colleges here in the state. So we are creating this academic environment for our students that will lead to success. Some of the backing with this is, again, why would you do this? And why would you even take an AP course? A benefit of that is the research shows that you are 36% more likely to graduate on time if you take an AP course just based off the rigor. So if you have a class, AP English Language with Dr. V, you are 36% more likely. Doesn't matter your score on the exam. You could get a 1, you could get a 5. Just taking the course and having that rigor is proven that you are 36% more likely to graduate on time. Because right now the trend is that it's taking students 5+ years to earn a 4-year degree. And then a lot of those students may not even finish their college. So the other piece of that is if you take 2 courses, then you are 76% more likely to graduate to make sure that you have a bachelor's. If it does take you a little bit longer, you're 76% more likely to make sure that you get that degree. But like I said, these types of courses, we poll our students all the time when they leave and then they come back. and they always tell us, if it wasn't for Mr. Will's AP Government course, if it wasn't for Dr. E's English course, I would not have been prepared. I would have struggled a lot more. AP test scores and college credit. Another just great piece is that the UNC system approved, and that it's basically state law that if they score 3 or higher, they have to accept those credits. The difference, there's also community college credits that they can accept, same law, but a lot of what happens between community college credits and AP courses, the AP courses will go in not as general electives, but for the actual course you took. And that is something we're trying to educate our students on, that they're great to get community college courses, but if you take an AP course, you're more likely to have it count for as what you took, instead of just a general elective. Some of the university support, the history behind this is the top colleges in the country and the top high schools in the country, in about 2015, they got together and they said, let's create the best program we can to make our students successful. And this is what they created. The top colleges, Brown, Harvard, Columbia, Georgetown, Princeton, NYU, these are just a few that highly endorse this program. Susan Roth from Duke University said this, through this program you get students turned on to higher education in a way they are not currently, and they enter the university with a different kind of attitude. The Dean of Admissions at MIT said, AP seminar and research are terrific and they prepare students to think in non-formulaic ways. So trying to also get them out of a thought process of kind of cram and test. So instead of just thinking, what do I need to know and I need to perform on a test, it gets them out of that thinking and where they can really think creatively and follow really their passion, because they get to choose their topics in these courses. So how does this work? If you look on here, there's 2 different things that they can earn. They can earn a certificate or a diploma. So if they complete research and seminar, just those 2 courses, and they pass those courses, they get a certificate, an AP certificate, capstone certificate. If they pass both of those courses and 4 other, that's the great piece. Any 4 AP courses beyond that. It could be, if you have a student who wants to go in law and they love English and social studies, they could pick courses that guide them there. If you have students who want to be an engineer and they really love math and science and they want to take Calc, AB, BC, statistics, chemistry, they can have those. So if you pass the 2 capstone courses and any 4 other, you get a capstone certificate. And all of these colleges, 250 of the top universities, are highly endorsing this, saying we want students that have taken capstone. So what does this bring to ACHS? It brings our students an opportunity. It brings distinction to the school, to our students, to our county, and we will be one of 5% of schools in the state that can offer this. I can kind of get long-winded. We've been here a long time. There's one clip on here. I show this a lot, and this is kind of my philosophy when I think about school overall, whether it's capstone, CTE, but in general. Right now in the state of North Carolina, we have what's called an employment gap. We have people that are fully capable, but they don't have the skills to fill the jobs that are open. I listened to a speaker a couple of years ago, and he was speaking particularly about computer programming, computer engineering, and he said there's 2,500, so 2,500 open jobs in North Carolina alone for computer science. That year, the North Carolina university system was only going to graduate 1,500 graduates in that field. So there's a 1,000 job gap that just in the state of North Carolina. There's other fields similar to that, like technicians and engineering. So when I think about this, this can prepare our students to fill that gap and get into careers that will pay them very well, and they will have the skills to get those open jobs on the market. Another piece of philosophy that I have is sometimes you have to go out and find something that's innovative and different and maybe something that nobody knows about. So Henry Ford said if he would have asked his customers, You know, what do they want? They would set a faster horse. Well, we don't want to just go out and get a faster horse. We want to go out there and get something that is different, that is innovative, that we're not just going to continue to teach our kids content, but we're going to teach our kids the skills they need to be successful. There's a short video that we can watch that will speak to all of this. And I'll talk about our students quick and then I'll close.
AP Capstone is an innovative program for high school students designed in partnership with college faculty. Built on 2 new courses from the Advanced Placement program, AP Capstone challenges students to select their own topics of study. In AP Seminar, students learn to evaluate the strength of an argument, pose solutions, collaborate, and communicate. In AP Research, students design, plan, and conduct a year-long investigation on a topic they choose. Both courses foster collaboration, research, and analytical writing.
Within AP Capstone, the seminar course is innovative for its flexibility. The research program has a similar focus of flexibility and innovation that we find attractive. Instructors and their students can choose the topic they're going to focus on. It has to be interdisciplinary, it has to be engaging, it has to be pressing.
The AP Capstone program is, I think, one of the most exciting innovations the College Board has ever come up with, and it's primarily because the teaching focus is shifted from content to skills. That is a paradigm shift.
The AP Capstone program was implemented in fall 2014 in 114 schools in the United States and in 22 schools throughout Canada, Europe, and Asia. The number of schools and students participating in the program are both expected to grow rapidly. Diversity in classes is fundamental to AP Capstone.
I see so much growth in the students over the year with writing and learning how to not just synthesize information, which is so critical, but also to draw conclusions and solutions and think about problems in the world around them. They also learn to work in teams and collaborate with each other, which is a critical skill in today's society.
I was sitting here listening to our students in some of the presentations, and I wasn't seeing 16 to 17-year-old high school students. I was seeing 20 to 21-year-old college students sitting here going through some of these topics that range anywhere from euthanasia to human trafficking, pop culture. Their intellectual maturity over the few months that we've had the program is outstanding.
The AP Capstone classes really help students develop the ability to do inquiry, to learn about gathering information, what information to trust, or how to put that information in context, how to form an argument based on the data and the evidence and the information that they've got, and then how to communicate it.
AP Capstone exams are validated by an external team of expert faculty from high schools and colleges.
The external validation associated with AP and AP Capstone does is it gives us a national standard. And for people like me that work in admissions and enrollment at selective universities, that in itself is of huge value. So we trust what we see.
The AP Capstone program, I think, is very unique. It's a broad program that gives skills that we think are very valuable, not only for college, but life skills. The ability to analyze, to critically think, to present that information is really wonderful. And I think both courses do a great job of preparing the student for the rest of their lives.
Fostering the research, argumentation, and communication skills that provide a foundation for college and career success.
The great thing that I've found is that we have students to do this. We have got some students in our school that are extremely intelligent. And I just wanted to kind of point out, this is our AP Academy, and these young men right here, I'm not sure if you guys can see it, but they've got electrical circuits set up with some pencils where they have the probes hooked up to the graphite on there. But basically, freshmen in our school built an electrical circuit, did a reverse hydrogen power fuel cell where they knew nothing about this before they researched it. They worked with Ms. Higgins, and they built this on their own, reversed the process so that they actually had in a cup of salt water, they figured, and it's way above my head, the protons and electrons and how they did it so that they could hook up a light bulb to the pencils, and the light bulb was lit in a cup of water, and they explained the whole hydrogen process and the byproduct and made it all on their own. These are the types of students we have in this county and in our school that are phenomenal students. I could go through and tell you each single one of these, all the different AP environmental processes they used in their projects, and it would blow you away. So I'm really excited about offering this because we have these students, and by no means do we want them bored in a classroom, and this provides them the opportunity to really expand their minds and search their interests. So I'll close with that. If you guys have any questions, I'm really excited about this program. We've got some awesome kids in our school that are really excited about this opportunity.
Any questions or comments from Mr. Palmer?
Actually, I have two. Is it a semester class or is it a year-long class?
So here, the first one, well, actually both of them are year-long, but what we do is we pair them with another AP course. So they actually get 2 credits within one class block, even though it's year-long. So they'll take AP English with seminar, and then they'll take AP English Lit with research. And what we found is those curriculums pair well together, and that is what the College Board suggests. So you basically get Dr. Vincent, who's an instructor at App State, and Alexander Central teaching you two courses that pair well together.
And do you envision, what if there's more students that want to take it than is possible? Is that a problem?
I can't wait. The hard part's the logistics. We've worked it out, and the fun part is getting to see all the kids working together on this. We'll expand this as much as we possibly can.
Great question.
Right now, the great thing is that we have an AP Academy that will pretty much feed into this program. We can open it up to all our students that are interested in it, but the AP Academy provides sound structure for speculating the numbers that we need. Thank you.
Thank you. Good job. Good job. Okay, we have an added surprise tonight before we go to item C and recognize Dr. Hebner for regarding this vacancy. We're going to start a new tradition here. When you've been in a meeting for an hour and a half, everybody's to stand up and stretch for a few seconds.
I don't think that was his intent. I was going to ask if I had an AP class for air and heat.
I know. Oh, there's 2 chairs. Right now it's all busy.
I was burning up for.
All right, we'll move on now since everybody's limbered up.
Mr. Campbell, will you bump us? Thank you, Janelle. Thanks. I know, I'm sorry.
Yeah. It's either move a little or freeze, so.
I think school is close because we're going to be cuddling over here.
We'll put a heater over here. Okay, Dr. Hebner, proceed.
Thank you, Chairman Odom. I mentioned at the, or announced at the December board meeting that we do have a vacancy on our board. I just wanted to take a moment to note the deadline for applications for this vacancy in District 4 is February 8th. Please remember that when you submit your letter of interest and resume, you need to send that to the Alexander County Board of Education, care of Mr. David Odom, Chairman. That address is 700 Lyledown Road, Taylorsville, North Carolina, 28681. And again, the deadline is February 8th.
Thank you. And if at this time we'll recognize Miss Macy Jones, the Director of the Alexander County Head Start.
Janelle is timing me. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I'm here
here this afternoon, or this evening rather, to just update you on the non-compliance that was issued to Alexander County Head Start whenever we had our federal review last February and the end of the 1st of March. It has been a long and rigorous and time-consuming process to address the non-compliance, but the good news is it is over. And the last words on the, I think it's the 3rd page of your document, it says that we have, this area of non-compliance is corrected. And those are the best words ever. So that was a delayed Christmas present. I said I could move like 4 notebooks off my desk now that have been there. So I just wanted to let you know that that finding is behind us. Although I led the effort to address the non-compliance, it was not, I did not do it alone. There were lots of people involved from our management team, Exceptional Children's Department, Ms. Behaffey, just lots of people. Scott Bowman participated in phone calls with the regional office, but that is behind us now. And just wanted to let you know that that has been satisfied.
Wonderful news. Good job.
Good job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good. Okay, and now Dr. Hefner will present her superintendent's report and have some items of information, and she will do it in 45 seconds.
Thank you, Chairman Odom. Board members, I have actually 3 attachments in the agenda under this superintendent's report. You can see I have a lengthy report this time, so I'm going to paraphrase a great deal. But just wanted to let everyone know that on December 10th, schools were closed for students and staff. And as you know, we operate under the state statute requiring certified teachers to work 215 days a year. Since schools were closed that day, a day has been added in the school calendar in order to meet that requirement for staff. And June 13th will be an optional teacher workday. AEC will have an optional teacher workday on May 22nd because you know the early college operates under a different calendar. So we have addressed that with both the school system and the early college. And you can read the rest of that information about that additional day that has been added. I would ask that you mark your calendar for Monday, January 28th. We're going to go to Taylorsville, and we're looking forward to that, Ms. Lingle. We're going to visit the school and take a tour, have some lunch, and just a variety of different things. And we are going to meet at the school's office that day at 11:30. Bullet number 3, I have provided each of you with a draft of a contract with Crosspoint Ministries, and the only thing I failed to do was I failed to stamp it that it was a draft. I need you to take a look at that contract or that draft, and I would like your suggestions of any revisions by Friday. Once I get those suggestions and I make revisions, I'm going to send that to the school board attorney so that he can put any kind of legal spin on anything that he needs, and I will bring a final draft to you at the February meeting for your approval. But in that contract, it addresses things like length of the term as far as the use, the cost, what that covers, the do's and don'ts of Crosspoint, and I just wanted you to have that. Bullet number 4, February 28th was the date that we landed on to meet with Representative Jeffrey Elmore. We will meet with him in this room at 6 on the 28th of February. A meeting has been set for January 30th between CTE Director Susan Gant, Emergency Management Executive Director Russell Green, Dr. David Barber, DPI Consultant for Trade and Industrial Education, and several others to talk about the logistics of offering a fire academy at the fire department building at Sugarloaf School. The meeting will be held in this room beginning at 10 that day, and again, that will be on January 30th. Earlier today, Dr. Maynor received official notification confirming that West Alexander Middle School has been designated as a school to watch. This is a tremendous honor, as only approximately 400 schools nationwide have this special recognition. Educators from across the country visit schools of this distinguished honor because they go to them because things are being done right, and they serve as model schools throughout the nation. An award is going to be made to West at an upcoming conference in Greensboro in March, but then also they are going to be recognized at the Schools to Watch conference in Washington, D.C. in June. I would just ask you to join me in congratulating the administration, students, and staff at West Alexander Middle School. Also, I would ask that you check your calendar to see if you and a date or your spouse or a friend, whomever you'd like to bring, you can bring a guest. I want to know if you are available to join me for dinner on Thursday, January 31st. This is an annual gift that I give to the board, just as in celebration of a belated Christmas present along with school board appreciation. And so will you please let me know by Friday if you and a guest are available that evening. Attached in the agenda, you're going to find a memo dated December 14th from Campbell Shatley, PLLC, about arrangements for services that will be effective July 1st. So if you don't mind, just take a look at that so that you will be aware of the cost of some of those things. And then I'm happy to say that I met with Jason Evans. He is not only the principal of the year, but he serves as the leader of the Papa group. I guess that's one of the treats or one of the tough things that you get when you're named principal of the year. But he leads our principal and assistant principal association. That's a local group. And when I met with him about just some feedback from principals, and sometimes that feedback, they're concerns, but we ended our meeting recently with some very positive feedback. And Chris Campbell's in the back of the room. Mr. Campbell is our director of maintenance, and that positive feedback from the principals group involved you and your maintenance department, and just how happy they are that you have implemented some new technology practices, and those practices really seem to have improved communication between that department and the schools, as well as the efficiency of taking care of some issues. So congratulations to Chris Campbell. I wanted to let you know that I have instructed Deborah, and we have purchased 3 more webinars that the North Carolina School Board Association has offered to school systems, one being on February 12th, one on March 19th. No, I'm sorry, the 19th we did not purchase, strike that one. February 12th, April 23rd, and May 14th, and you can see the topics being discussed. We actually, as a group of administrators, principals, and central office, watched a webinar today, and that went very well. The one today was entitled, "Everyone Knew He Was a Troubled Kid, Limits on the Release of Student Information to Law Enforcement and Other Third Parties." We had a lot of good discussion that took place after the webinar. We expressed some confusion about what you could tell and what you could not tell, but the bottom line is that these webinars are offered to us from the School Board Association at a minimal cost. They are very relevant and current topics, and so we've purchased those, and they can be accessed anytime on the day that it's scheduled from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. So that is open to you all as well. And principals, you can speak to that it was very informative today. They're only an hour. Sometimes they're so overwhelming you need to watch it a second time. So I'm not going to tell you whether you should do that or not, but I know today I needed to. And then the last thing I would ask, do you have any questions?
I didn't see the Campbell Shatley attachment.
It is in the executive content.
Gotcha.
Okay. And then the other attachment was the official letter to West about their Schools to Watch.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Kavner. Unfinished business. Sharon Mahaffey, CFO, Alexander County Schools.
Tonight we have 6 policies that are up for 2nd
second reading. I would ask that you approve on second reading 5 of those policies: 3200, 3420, 3430, 3460, and 3565. We would like to hold, we made some minor changes in section B of policy 3410, testing and assessment program, and we'll bring that back next month.
You've heard the recommendation by Ms. Mahaffey. Could I have a motion regarding this matter?
Move to approve all except 3410, if you could bring that back next month.
Second.
A motion and a second.
So moved.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Proceed, Ms. Mahaffey.
Thank you. We have 8 policies up for the first reading, and we discussed these in principals meeting today for a short while, and we will bring those back next month for second reading.
Thank you so much for the work you do. Okay, item B, we will explore the Alexander County Schools Chemical Hygiene Plan with Dr. Alicia Kluwer.
Page by page.
Page by page.
All right, good evening. So, chemical hygiene plan is something that's very important that we don't talk about a whole lot. And actually, when I came on board this year, when I came on board this year, I said, oh, I remember that when I left here in 2012. And come to find out, I don't think it's been revised since then. That's the last revision. So we thought it would be a good time to go ahead and do a revision. However, there's probably not a lot to revise other than updating some of the chemicals and things that we have here in the district. But I'm not going to say a whole lot because I have found out through this process of meeting with teachers from the high school and both middle schools that we have some really wonderful experts in this area that know a whole lot more about chemical reactions and all kinds of things than I do. So I'm going to turn this over to Amy Daigle, who, wow, I'm just impressed with her knowledge. So take it away.
All right. Well, it's kind of hard to follow the emotional meeting that we have had today, so mine's going to be a little more about business. We mostly just focused on, like she said, updating what we already had, adding a few things. Come to find out, all 3 schools were actually using the same chemical hygiene plan anyway. We just were not aware. So this one, and you have a copy of it, is the new one for the middle school, the two middle schools, the high school, and then would be used in any of the elementary schools that were utilizing chemicals for that need. The main thing we focused on right now was finding out what each of our schools still needed, equipment-wise, safety-wise, what was maintenance orders. So we did send a survey out to the middle schools and the high school about, how many eye wash stations do you have, how many of are operating. We looked at things like slip-resistant mats, which is a requirement, whether they are used commonly or not. We also discussed, and in here is about how they have to keep a log of maintenance for that, turning them on and off. And then, of course, like she said, the chemical closet clean out was a big one. Doing our best to try to reduce those chemicals on our own so that we didn't have to pay extensive fines for having those removed. So East Alexander is ready to roll. I think West Alexander sent us a list of their chemicals. They're not housing that many at the moment anyway. And the high school is still in the process of working on getting those out. And I have offered helping, but I think for the most part they'll be able to take care of a lot of that disposal on their own. But they're looking for, caps that are not correctly secured, labels that are falling off, things like that. So this kind of outlines those main things. This is going to be a process. This is only saying what we would like to do moving forward, how to keep our students safe, how to keep our teachers safe, and everybody is knowledgeable of those procedures. So moving forward, it's a matter of what are we looking at next. So we already have another meeting scheduled. Excuse me, because I did not remember that date. We have another meeting scheduled to work on, where are we at in each school, what does each school need, and where are we going to look for funding for all of that.
So basically what you have is a draft. It's pretty close to what we think is going to be the final product. Like we said, we're going to meet again at the 1st of February and just review again what we have in that draft. We want you to have a chance to look at it. See if you have any questions or anything that you think we should have.
The proper handling of chemicals is very Next, we'll recognize Dr. Betsy Curry, Associate Superintendent of Curriculum and Instruction.
And I have a team today, but they promised me 2 minutes per slide, so we're good. Super excited. Come on up, everybody. And this is not everybody. We have 2 other members of our team who have been struck with the flu or had another obligation.
Oh my goodness.
We have found out that the flu has hit the eastern side of the county. So we need to be ready for that. This is my team. If you can go to the next slide, Dr. Clark. Or do you want me to? I can do it? Okay. No, I can't. All right, I got it. There we go. Okay. Tina Walker is the 6th grade science teacher at East Alexander Middle School. She was one of the original members of our STEM team. Ryan Rao, here beside me, the only male member, had a blast with all the women in Washington, D.C. this past summer. He was a good sport, a real good sport. He is a science teacher, 6th grade science teacher at West. Chelsea Harrington, 5th grade teacher at Stony Point. Melinda Glenn, instructional facilitator. Becky Dupuy, high school science teacher and part-time instructional facilitator. And Susan Gant, director of CTE. So I'm going to let them take this over, and I'm sure they will do a good job. We're going to start with Mr. Rao. Got it? Sure.
The conference, what I call a conference, was funded by a grant we received, 100%. I mean, we went to Washington D.C., had a pretty nice hotel to stay in, fairly large, and the entire conference was held at that hotel. The main goal of the conference itself was for us to create a 5-year strategic plan to implement a STEM program here in Alexander County. The way they put this together was really well done. They basically did a couple STEM lessons with us as the students, basically trying to get that buy-in, which it worked. We enjoyed it a lot, and then we spent a lot of the week going through a lot of steps on how we might implement this. There was one day, I think it was a Thursday, where it was basically a field trip day, where we separated out into groups, and we went, I think a group went to a brewery, another group went to the zoo, my group went to a art gallery, conservatory, and basically what I got from those experiences was we were able to talk to the employees and ask them, how are you using STEM skills at your job? Us as educators, how can we basically give our students the skills and prepare them for what you're doing? And I enjoyed it. I'm not that much into paintings, but it was just interesting to see the skills they learned wasn't necessarily facts-based, but was skills-based, and how they had to take what they had and make do. So that was the primary goal of the week, was to implement this 5-year plan. So this is a phrase that kept coming to mind as we were planning this. I kept thinking on how we could implement this in Alexander County, and I think most teachers, if not all teachers, are interested in STEM. They want to implement more hands-on, which is a very simplified version, but basically skills-based teaching. But you need resources, you need support. And so when I think about this program growing, we could honestly try to force it on teachers, and it could be viewed as, okay, here's another thing we need to do. But I think teachers are, speaking for myself and the teachers I'm around, are interested in this, and if we supply them with the correct support and enough tools, it will grow on its own, just like a plant would grow if you give it what it needs. So I'm excited about the program, and I think it will grow naturally if we do the right stuff.
We have
have been talking STEM for years, since I was at Allendale as a 5th grade teacher, teaching 5th grade science when we first started the test. But I think this whole experience changed my understanding of what STEM really was. One problem that I had with STEM was that it was kind of a fun activity that you did once a week, twice a month, and it didn't really connect to anything else you were teaching. And so a major focus for this was truly taking STEM, the idea of STEM, and really integrating it into our curriculum. So just like you said, it's not one more thing, but it's doing what we already do better, more effectively. We did not want this to be a forced project on teachers, just one more thing for them to do. So we really did plan this over 5 years to be a slow process. So this year's goal is truly just to introduce the idea to you all, to our stakeholders, the principals, the teachers, and just kind of figure out what we need. So one of the things that we're doing is a school needs assessment across the county. And we've actually changed our plan just a little bit. Instead of one big school needs assessment, as we plan a unit or a lesson, we're going to see what our teachers need for that unit or lesson and make sure they have that. So we're taking one step at a time. So it is year by year. This year, we're going to plan and teach one STEM lesson in 5th and 6th grades. And we chose those grades for a couple of reasons. One, 5th grade is a major science focus because it is a tested science grade. But we also had a phenomenal 5th grade teacher in Chelsea Harrington who was with us, so she's ready to lead that charge. And then we had Tina Walker, who was ready to lead the charge in 6th grade, and Ron. So we had those people kind of in place. And we thought if we could really model one great lesson and give our teachers the resources to implement that in their classrooms, then if they loved that, then we'd be ready to grow the next part. So next year, we'll include more teachers in 5th and 6th grades involved in planning and teaching these units. And then we'll expand to 4th and 7th grades, and you can just kind of grow from there. So our goal is really to build and maintain the kits so that everybody has the resources they need for the lessons. Because a lot of times you hear about a great lesson, but teachers are going out and buying those resources for themselves, and it just becomes really expensive, and it is that one more thing they have to do. Oh, wrong way. So funding was a big source of concern for us because science materials a lot of times are consumable. So we also really discussed ways that we could fund this project without taking resources from other areas that are also important to our schools. So we've been really working hard as a team on writing and hopefully getting grants. Tina, Ryan, and Becky all submitted videos to the Biogen contest that's really just for middle and high schools, but they should get $1,000 each to support STEM instruction and PD in their schools. So that was a nice little chunk. Our local education foundation, we wrote 3 grants as a team for that. Chelsea Harrington and I wrote one for 5th grade to create those STEM kits and fund that. Becky Dupuy wrote a grant for PD and STEM and the Bio Network. I'm going to get the wrong way. It's that red shirt. And Ryan wrote one for the irrigation system. And I think, Ryan, were those some of the pictures that we just saw?
Those are actually older pictures, but they will be improved with the irrigation system.
And then Becky is also interviewing for the borough's Welcome Fund on February 6th in Raleigh. And if she receives that, she's one of 10 finalists, and there are going to be about 5 awards, so her chances are really good. Then she'll be awarded $175,000 over the next 5 years. So that's wonderful. And you know, writing grants is it's a huge job, and you don't get all of them that you try for, but just trying for them is important. So these are the ones we've been awarded, and then we have tried for several others that unfortunately we didn't get, but work in progress. I'm gonna let Becky take over, and you can explain a little bit more about your
First of all, let me explain why STEM is so important. I think we're all aware that it is important, but I don't know if we realize that North Carolina, I had read recently that North Carolina was 6th in the nation for jobs in the STEM fields. We looked briefly, and there's 600 jobs available right now in Raleigh, and we can't get out enough workers prepared for these positions in North Carolina. I think the increase was 31% job rate went up at a $91,000 average pay. So there's a lot of need out there, and as this need has
really came since 2000 in North Carolina. They have set up a lot of places and a lot of grants and things that go along with it. The Bio Network there is a is a group that works with like the community colleges to get the message for STEM out in the community and get kids interested in pursuing those fields. What you see there, they bring all the materials into our classrooms. Mr. Chester and my students are doing gel electrophoresis, which is like if you find DNA at a crime scene, where they can run that, and they provide all the materials and the cost. It doesn't cost anything for the schools. You just have to be accepted that they'll come into your school and do it with you. Sometimes they don't have the dates available. Ms. Barger's class is doing it's a test on a white powder, like that you would do with an industry to determine like chemical composition. And again, they bring everything out. They do, they even provide the instructor. And so with that, there's a lot of these labs and things that we can maybe put in for, especially middle school, high school. Didn't see very many in elementary, but that they'll come in and do with the students. And we're looking at bringing more of that into our county also. Praying for the $175,000, that would go a long way.
Will that be awarded?
I would find out March the 1st.
Okay.
There are, since it's down to 10 and I have a half a chance, I told my husband I'm not so sure because I'm like thinking I'm going to win it, you know. I have a half a chance, but just keep me in your prayers.
Well, as you know, STEM is not just in science classes. It is inherently found in all of our CTE classes. And I think we do a great job. Of course, I'm a little prejudiced in getting our students out there and with activities. And I could have picked 100 pictures and slides, but Betsy told me I only had one. So I narrowed it down to 2 pictures.
Thank you now.
Yes. And one, I think I've showed you before the picture, but our portable sawmill, and that's my new favorite piece of equipment at the moment at the high school. So I'm showing you a picture of that again, but it's amazing what the kids learn when they work together to take that tree and figure out what they need to do, what width, what length, what size board they want to create, and then they have to set the machine to be able to come up with the results that they want. So it's pretty amazing, and the kids are super excited about it. So if you've not seen it in use, I invite you again to come over and see it because it's pretty fascinating. And then the other picture is our hydroponic tomatoes that they're growing in the greenhouse, and each student has their own. So they had to do all their research. They grew them from seeds, and they've had to do everything along the way in the process for their hydroponic tomatoes that they are currently reaping and taking home. So I guess if you need tomatoes, we can contact Mr. Mitchell and he can set you up some. And I would like to finish just by saying I was not able to go to Washington with the group because I had a CTE conflict. So I spent a week in Greensboro while they're in Washington in a nice hotel and doing all their trips.
And I tried to get her to go in my place because I wasn't sure I wanted to go, but I'm so glad I went.
I'm trying not to be bitter about that, but anyway. But so that is the presentation tonight. Do you have any questions on our STEM plan?
Any questions or comments from the board?
I'm glad y'all are doing it.
Yes.
I just want to add one more thing that the recurring theme through tonight from Crystal's presentation all the way up through with Mr. Palmer's has been leadership. And these teachers have really stepped up, and they've really stepped up not just in going to Washington, D.C. and the extra time and the effort they're putting in, but lasting for this entire board meeting. And next time I will put you on the very front of the agenda. So, but without them, I don't know where we would be, and they really helped me to understand from a teacher's perspective. And I like to think I still have one, but I had a blast with them, and it was just so fun, and they're just amazing leaders, all of them. So I appreciate it.
Kudos for stamina. Okay, Miss Macy Jones, she has a cameo performance tonight. The 2019-20 refunding application and the waiver for non-federal share match.
I'm feeling the pressure. I have 3 people timing me now. So 4. Okay.
So tonight I'm here to ask for permission to submit the 2019-2020 Head Start refunding application in the amount of $265,920. And you have a copy of the refunding letter, and it is broken down into different areas: program operations, training and technical assistance, and cost of living adjustment.
Thank you very much. You have the recommendation and application from Ms. Jones. What is the pleasure of the board regarding this matter?
Move to approve.
We have a motion, we have a second, any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
And the next thing is concerning the non-federal share match. In the Head Start program, we are responsible for generating 20% of a non-federal share match. And that figure is based off of our annual grant. So this year, we are responsible for generating a little over $300,000. I sat with my team, and we believe that we will have some difficulty meeting that $311,000 mark. That amount has the potential to increase if we are awarded a grant that we applied for last year for buses and to extend the day to 2:45 for our children. So to be on the safe side, we would like to go ahead and ask the federal government for a waiver. And a waiver is not uncommon because over the years of resources in smaller rural counties have dwindled, state funds have dwindled, and it has become increasingly hard for Head Start programs to secure those funds through volunteer services, especially if we've asked parents to, to be employed or to be engaged in school. So I'm here tonight to ask for that waiver.
Have a motion, is there a second? Second. Any discussion? All in favor of the waiver, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
For all you do. Okay, item D is the 2019 Board Committee assignments, and that is a product of the chairman. Hope you enjoy your assignments. They're non-negotiable. Take those up with any future chair. Okay. At this time, I'll entertain a motion to enter into closed session pursuant to General Statute 143-318.11A6.
So moved. Second.
Okay, all in favor say aye. Aye. Okay. Thank you so much for your attendance.
Thank you.